Xylazine is a diabolical substance. It can cause blood infections, it can cause wounds. The substance basically destroys the tissue.
The tranquilizer drug creates wounds that don't heal very well, and I got those on the inside.
If I'm not numbing my emotions, I'm driving myself crazy.
A lot of us deal with depression, and you know, some of us lost our families, and you know, it's the only thing that kind of like takes away the pain, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know if it's like a disease or it's more like a choice, but it's just, I think for me, I got started so young, it's almost like a habit now.
I think people should know that we're human, just like everybody else. We shouldn't be treated different.
I'm still a human being. Like, I'm just a drug addict. I'm still a person.
In Kensington, Philadelphia, homelessness is not just the loss of housing, but a daily entanglement with the streets, addiction, illness, and despair. Sidewalks, train stations, and street corners have become makeshift shelters for those with nowhere else to go. By day, Kensington remains part of a functioning city. But as the light fades, a harsher reality emerges. Exhausted bodies collapsing on sidewalks, empty stairs drifting through crowded streets. When a person lies motionless on the pavement, the deepest pain is not only addiction or cold, it is the feeling of no longer being seen as human. This film stands as a call to conscience and humanity. Stay until the end, because what unfolds in Kensington may change how we look away, or whether we can at all. If this story resonates with you, leave a comment, leave a like, and subscribe to US Homeless Stories so these voices are no longer ignored. The scale of the crisis. In the intricate weave of America's urban shadows, where the pulse of prosperity often overlooks the quiet fraying at its edges, the US Homeless Stories emerging from Kensington and Philadelphia illuminate a sweeping saga of enduring hardship that envelops countless lives in a veil of perpetual instability. Amid this landscape, individuals navigate a world stripped of sanctuary, where the lack of a secure haven transforms every moment into a precarious balance, amplifying the relentless drag of long-term challenges that chip away at resilience day by day. This existence without roots fosters a profound sense of disconnection, a feeling of being cast aside by the currents of society, where the overlooked become invisible threads in a fabric that prioritizes the seen over the sidelined, a deepening isolation amid indifferent surroundings. The daily grind of mere survival, scrounging for sustenance, seeking fleeting refuge from the elements, enduring the weight of uncertainty, exacts a toll that resonates through the soul, underscoring the delicate vulnerability inherent in lives teetering on the brink of societal margins. Yet, in this realm of fragility, compassionate outreach from groups like Prevention Point offers vital essentials and pathways to stability, while citywide initiatives with over $100 million in annual support contribute to subtle shifts, such as unsheltered counts in Kensington's key corridors, dropping to around 195 from 338 the prior year, and broader areas falling to about 300 from 445 as of December 2025. Have you ever contemplated how such expansive struggles echo the unseen battles woven into the heart of our cities? In these US Homeless Stories, the vast panorama of human precarity invites us to behold the shared essence that unites us beyond the divides. What elements of this widespread uncertainty strike you as most poignant in narratives like these? As we peer into the intimate repercussions, let's examine how open-air existence intensifies these ceaseless pressures. How could everyday sparks of solidarity reshape the course of such delicate journeys? From my perspective in sharing these US Homeless Stories, confronting the immense tapestry of hardship nurtures a gentle empathy, unveiling how even simple gestures of unity can infuse strength into the most tender of existences. Living outdoors and the cost to health. Amid the ever-shifting horizons of America's overlooked pathways, where the open sky serves as both ceiling and sentinel, the US Homeless Stories whispered from Kensington streets unveil a tapestry of quiet erosion, where the body and spirit bear the silent scars of a life perpetually unbound. In this fluid realm of transience, existence becomes a delicate equilibrium, disrupted by the whims of circumstance, turning each day into a prolonged negotiation with frailty, slender frames etched with the marks of untreated ailments, carrying the weight of conditions that linger unchecked, sapping strength in the shadows of indifference, as nearly 30% grapple with severe mental health challenges that deepen the cycle of instability. This unanchored journey fosters a profound solitude, a subtle exile from the weave of communal bonds, where the sidelined navigate an unseen chasm, their presence a faint echo in a world that often averts its gaze, amplifying the isolation that seeps into every breath. A reminder that such fragility could subtly enfold any life, shifting from security to the streets in unforeseen turns. The ceaseless demands of endurance, warding off the body's quiet rebellions against exposure, seeking elusive reprieve from hidden pains that heighten risks like respiratory strains amid damp and polluted environs, underscore a vulnerability woven into the human story, where the element's embrace exacts a toll that resonates universally. Yet, in this expanse of quiet trial, compassionate outreach from mobile teams and wellness initiatives provides essential care, illuminating paths to support amid the shadows. Have you ever reflected on how the element's unyielding embrace shapes the hidden battles of well-being in our cities? In these U.S. homeless stories, the lingering toll invites us to see the shared precariousness that binds humanity's quieter edges. What hidden strains of such exposure resonate deepest with you in these accounts? Transitioning to the veiled sanctuaries found in dim alleys, we explore how quiet desperation forges unexpected havens. How might gentle waves of compassion redirect these shadowed paths? Reflecting on these U.S. homeless stories, I've learned that embracing the universal thread of vulnerability nurtures a compassionate lens. When addiction becomes the last escape. In the hushed fringes of America's neglected thoroughfares, where the illusion of normalcy crumbles under the weight of unseen torments, the U.S. homeless stories from districts like Kensington and Philadelphia expose a tragic spiral into substance dependency, where the relentless barrage of life's instabilities propels weary souls toward drugs as a deceptive haven, only to ensnare them in a vortex of devastation that ravages every facet of existence. Amid this nomadic drift without anchor, the drawn-out afflictions carve paths of profound unsteadiness, where the void of a permanent shelter magnifies each setback into an endless cascade, fostering a brittleness that shatters under the cumulative load, driving the desperate toward narcotics that promise fleeting numbness but deliver only ruinous chains. This exile to society's outer rims engenders a stark marginalization, a recurring echo of being thrust aside, where the forsaken are systematically gated out of the communal fold, their presences diminished to whispers in a chorus that favors the fortunate, perpetuating a cycle of exclusion that isolates them further with every indifferent glance. The unceasing demand to merely persist, grappling with the seductive grip of oblivion, the erosion of bonds, the daily siege of survival's harsh imperatives, unveils a harrowing delicacy, a somber portrait of beings contorted by the scourge, their forms twisted in agony like aimless specters, individuals shuffling through the void with hollow eyes, embodying the profound despair induced by this harmful substance that erodes well-being. Drugs, that insidious blight, wreak havoc on all they touch, dismantling families in shards of betrayal and loss, evicting dreams from homes turned to ashes, consigning once whole lives to the streets as homeless shadows. Their toxic embrace, a merciless thief that steals health, hope, and heart, leaving behind only wreckage and regret. As of 2025, the area's opioid shifts persist, with adulterants like midatomidine intensifying the peril, muddying the already treacherous waters for those ensnared. Have you ever contemplated how layered hardships might funnel one into such destructive mirages? In these U.S. homeless stories, the multifaceted shroud of anguish implores us to perceive the bound essence of our common frailty. On what layers of this perilous allure move you most deeply in chronicles like these? Transitioning to the routine amenities we scarcely contemplate, we disclose how vital provisions slide into domains of rarity. How might curtailed access to necessities heighten the tears of persistent tribulation? when a shower becomes a luxury. In the poignant undercurrents of America's bustling streets, where the symphony of daily life plays on without pause, the U.S. homeless stories. From enclaves like Kensington in Philadelphia lay bare a heart-wrenching truth. The simple comfort of a shower fades into a poignant longing, a symbol of the profound losses etched into lives without a door to close behind them. Picture the weariness in every step, bodies carrying the day's relentless toll, layers of dust and sweat clinging like unwelcome shadows. A constant reminder of vulnerability in a world that demands cleanliness as a badge of belonging, yet offers no refuge for renewal. Without a home to retreat to, the act of bathing becomes a fleeting fantasy, replaced by hurried attempts at hygiene on unforgiving sidewalks. But where meals are consumed amid the chaos of passing feet, and personal care unfolds in the open air, stripped of privacy and dignity. Traversing narrow alleys that exhale a heavy, acrid haze of decay, mingled scents of waste and neglect that assault the senses. These souls endure a quiet humiliation, their spirits aching under the weight of being perpetually exposed, forever adrift in a cycle where rest and restoration remain just out of grasp. This absence of sanctuary breeds a deep, soul-stirring sorrow, a hollow echo of what it means to belong, where the warmth of a familiar space is supplanted by the cold indifference of transience, whispering that such fragility isn't confined to strangers, but could touch any of us. A sudden twist of fate, like illness or financial upheaval, turning the familiar into the forsaken, but reminding us of our shared humanity in the face of life's unpredictability. Yet, amidst this tender ache, beacons like the Philly Flush Initiative and the Kensington Engagement Center quietly extend access to basic cleansing, weaving threads of compassion that reaffirm worth in the midst of longing. Imagine the quiet desperation of carrying unspoken burdens day after day. How does that stir the depths of your own empathy? In these U.S. homeless stories, the elusive embrace of renewal tugs at our hearts, urging us to see the profound resilience blooming even in the quietest corners of struggle. What intimate glimpses of such daily deprivations have moved you in stories of the unseen? As we pivot to the ironies of plenty, let's reveal how opulence can veil the vulnerable. How might gentle bridges of understanding span these emotional chasms? From my perspective in sharing these U4, when a shower becomes a luxury. In the poignant undercurrents, a wealthy society with no room for the poor. In the shimmering facade of a nation brimming with innovation and abundance, where skylines reach for endless possibility and fortunes accumulate in unprecedented scales, the U.S. homeless stories etched across places like Kensington and Philadelphia lay bare a haunting contradiction. A society of vast resources that somehow leaves vast swaths of its people adrift in a sea of unrelenting adversity, their lives a testament to the quiet erosion wrought by systemic oversights. Within this opulent tapestry, existence unfolds as a fragile odyssey without harbor, where the void of reliable shelter breeds an all-encompassing volatility, turning the passage of time into a slow unraveling of security and self, as aspirations fade under the grind of perpetual displacement. And this relegation to the periphery instills a profound estrangement, a sensation of being eclipsed by the glow of progress, where the marginalized drift as unseen specters in a narrative dominated by affluence, their humanity diminished in the rush of societal advancement. The incessant demand to persevere, navigating the maze of scarcity, weathering the storms of indifference, clinging to threads of normalcy, imposes a burdensome vigilance that underscores the tender precariousness of lives caught in the crosscurrents of inequality and exclusion. Yet, amidst these divides, dedicated initiatives and substantial investments, such as Philadelphia's over $100 million homelessness budget in 2025, and national efforts to address a record 771,480 people experiencing homelessness in 2024, an 18% rise from the prior year, provide essential pathways toward equity and support. What reflections arise for you when considering how prosperity can coexist with such widespread exclusion? In these U.S. homeless stories, the profound contrasts beckon us to ponder the essence of true communal abundance. How can we cultivate bridges across these societal chasms to nurture inclusive havens? These accounts invite a thoughtful reassessment of our shared values, steering toward a horizon of fairness. From my vantage in these U.S. homeless stories, delving into the depths of disparity awakens a humane imperative, illustrating that authentic wealth flourishes when we champion the upliftment of all, harmonizing voices in a symphony of collective dignity. The role of nonprofits. In the raw heart of Kensington's unrelenting shadows, where every breath carries the heavy echo of shattered dreams, the U.S. homeless stories unfold with a piercing intimacy, a life stripped to its barest threads, where the void of shelter turns days into an exhausting vigil of uncertainty, each moment laced with the ache of endless instability that gnaws at the human spirit, leaving scars of quiet despair. Here, amid the fragile pulse of existence, souls endure the crushing weight of prolonged trials, their world a haze of rootless wandering that blurs horizons into doubt, evoking a profound sorrow for those cast to the fringes, their silent pleas lost in society's indifferent roar, where the ceaseless hunt for warmth, a bite to eat, or a shred of safety stirs waves of raw empathy for the dignity clinging by a thread. Yet, amid this heartache, organizations like Prevention Point Philadelphia, marking 10 years of expanded homeless services in 2025 with over 113,000 Narcan doses distributed, and the new Kensington Community Development Corporation, creating 44 new rental units and hosting People First housing workshops through December, provide essential lifelines of support and community connection. If these emotional journeys touch your soul, share your reflections in the comments and subscribe to U.S. Homeless Stories to witness more tales of unbreakable human spirit. Have you ever felt the deep pull of a stranger's struggle that mirrors our shared fragility? As we turn toward hopeful strategies, let's explore how unity can heal these open wounds. How might fresh alliances rewrite the fates of those enduring in silence? From my perspective in sharing these U.S. homeless stories, delving into the tender core of hardship laced with quiet care awakens a heartfelt unity, reminding us that embracing vulnerability reignites the sacred light of humanity in every weary path. Long-term strategies and solutions. In the raw, aching heart of Kensington's forgotten alleys, where every weary step echoes the silent cry of souls adrift, the U.S. homeless stories pull us into the profound sorrow of lives ensnared in endless uncertainty. No safe harbor to call home, just a shattering fragility that turns each dawn into a battleground of doubt and despair, stretching on without mercy or pause, weaving a web of exhaustion that clings like fog to every breath taken. Picture the soul-crushing weight, days blending into nights without refuge, where the simple quest for warmth or a scrap of food drains the spirit, leaving hearts hollowed by the relentless grind that no one should endure alone. A cycle that wears down dreams into mere whispers of what could have been, in chipping away at the core of who they are until resilience feels like a distant memory. This unanchored existence breeds a deep, wounding isolation, a sense of being cast to society's cold edges, where the world spins on without a glance, deepening the ache of invisibility amid indifferent crowds, making every interaction a reminder of how easily one can fade from view, how the laughter of passersby can pierce like a knife through the veil of forgotten humanity. The ceaseless pressure of mere survival, fighting hunger's gnaw, the elements' bite, the fear of loss, the quiet erosion of self-worth, stirs a raw compassion in us, highlighting how precariously we all teeter on the brink of such vulnerability, evoking a shared ache for the humanity stripped bare in these shadowed lives, urging us to pause and truly feel the depth of their unspoken pain. But amid this pain, Mayor Parker's ongoing PIE strategy offers compassionate prevention and intervention, while recent December 2025 sweeps provide immediate shelter and services. And plans for 30,000 affordable units over 4 years kindle glimmers of lasting stability. If these heartfelt tales move you as deeply as they do me, subscribe to U.S. Homeless Stories now to help amplify these voices and drive real change. How does the vision of enduring renewal touch your soul in the face of such human fragility? In these U.S. Homeless Stories, the emotional call for sustainable paths reminds us that from shared heartache, profound healing can emerge. Drawing from these U.S. Homeless Stories, I've felt deeply that pouring empathy into others' futures creates soulful bonds, elevating us all toward kinder, brighter days.
This is the line as usual. You guys always see the line goes.
We love you guys.
No more lines. Grab a cup and move. So, yes, guys, we here. So we was able to make.
Two more minutes. 2 more minutes.
Stretch the limits of endurance, a daily mosaic of unpredictability that transforms routine into a fragile negotiation, where the void of security deepens every challenge into a profound, lingering burden on the human spirit. This unmoored life cultivates a subtle yet pervasive detachment, an abiding impression of being relegated to society's outskirts. But where the overlooked fade into the backdrop of collective oversight, their presence diminished amid the flow of indifferent progress. The ceaseless imperative of survival, contending with scarcity's grip, the isolation of exclusion, the inexorable demand to forge ahead through each uncertain interval, etches a portrait of profound delicacy, evoking the tender precariousness that underscores dignity's quiet perseverance amid overlooked plights. Yet, in this expanse of vulnerability, compassionate endeavors offer essential lifelines. Recent city initiatives, including sweeps in early December 2025, that connected individuals to shelter and services, alongside ongoing outreach from organizations like the Office of Homeless Services, providing winter beds from December 1st through March 31st. Illustrate how modest interventions can foster pathways towards stability. Now, as we confront these realities, let us heed a call to meaningful action. Reach out to local nonprofits, volunteer your time, or advocate for policies that prioritize housing and support. Small steps that collectively rebuild communities and affirm every person's worth. What stirs within your conscience when faced with such stories of human fragility? How might your own acts of kindness ripple outward to mend these divides? In closing these U.S. homeless stories, remember, every voice matters, and together we can illuminate paths to dignity for all. From my perspective in sharing these U.S. homeless stories, embracing the depth of shared hardship ignites a humane resolve, demonstrating how intentional compassion can transform fleeting empathy into enduring bonds that uplift the most vulnerable among us.
This is peace. Peace and love. Thank you.